నీట్ 2020 ఫలితాలలో ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ విద్యార్థుల ప్రభంజనం. ఆల్ ఇండియా కేటగిరీలో థర్డ్ ర్యాంక్ సాధించిన శ్రీశాంత్ కు మా అభినందనలు. ఇంతటి అఖండ విజయానికి ప్రోత్సహించిన అధ్యాపకులకు మా కృతజ్ఞతలు. 2020 జేఈఈ మెయిన్ ఫలితాలలో ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ విద్యార్థుల ప్రభంజనం. ఆల్ ఇండియా అన్ని కేటగిరీస్లో 18, 35, 251, 253, 582, 606, 778, 780, 812, 821, 1031, 1039, 1303, 1575, 1654, 1753, 1754, 1978 ర్యాంకులే కాక మరెన్నో ఉత్తమ ఫలితాలు సాధించిన విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్. ఈ ఫలితాలు సాధించడానికి కారణమైన లెక్చరర్లు మరియు తల్లిదండ్రులకు మా కృతజ్ఞతలు. ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషనల్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్.
Hello students, now let us continue discussion about chrysophytes in Protista. So here in Protista we were discussed about there are many organisms, but in Protista we are mainly discussing chrysophytes. Now these chrysophytes they found growing both freshwater as well as freshwater or in marine water So these chrysophytes they found growing in both, they grow in both freshwater, they also find growing in the marine water. Now we studied for the last class based upon the structural symmetry. They divide into two categories, centrates and pennates. The one which contains what we call radial symmetry are called centrates. The one which show bilateral symmetry are called pennates. Right. Now let us talk about reproduction. Now these chrysophytes they undergo asexual reproduction as well as during favorable condition they also undergo what is called asexual reproduction. So during favorable conditions they undergo asexual reproduction as well as the sexual reproduction. So here asexually asexual reproduction occurs by binary fission. Asexual reproduction occurs by binary fission. So here you can take binary fission. So here I am writing binary fission. So these chrysophytes they undergo reproduction by the process called binary fission. So we all know it very well. What is binary fission? One organism divides and forms the two organisms. So here it is like this. This is what is called the desmids. Vacuoles are there. Now what happens at the time of asexual reproduction here? Asexual reproduction occurs by the process called binary fission. That means one organism divides and produces two organisms. Now that asexual reproduction which occurs by binary fission is most commonly occurs and most commonly takes place in case of chrysophytes. Now let's come to the sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction occurs by fusion of gametes. It occurs by the fusion of gametes. So the gamete fusion takes place that results in formation of the zygote, and this zygote develops into, so here there will be a formation of that results in formation of oxospores or also called as rejuvenatory spores or also called as restitution spores. Also lead to formation of restitution spores. So here oxospore formation we can see only the characteristic of Protista. Now here if you look at very clearly we see during sexual reproduction In Monera, there is no fusion of gametes, but in Protista, there is a fusion of gametes. Gametes will fuse together. One gamete fuses with the other gamete, lead to formation of the zygote, and then zygote results in formation of specialized cells. We have discussed for the last class. These specialized cells are called as oxospores, or which are also called as rejuvenatory spores, are also called as restitution spores, because these spores which are developed as a specialized cells, wherever they fall, again they completely, once again they germinate, and these spores germinate. These are spores, these are not produced by sexual reproduction. These spores are produced as a result of sexual reproduction. They germinate and give rise to a new organism. Rejuvenatory, that's why they are called rejuvenatory or restitution spores. They themselves, they develop into an organism, that's why they are also called oxospores. Remember, oxospores, rejuvenatory, restitution spores occurs as a result of sexual reproduction, most commonly in chrysophytes, and when the chrysophytes undergo asexual reproduction, that occurs by the process called as binary fission. So these all are nothing but what we call chrysophytes. Chrysophytes are also called as jewels of the plant kingdom. They are called chief producers of the ocean. They involve in formation of diatomaceous earth, or also nothing but kyssenker. Centrials, pennants, epitheca, hypotheca, both made up of silica shells, and these silica shells are indestructible, and they form what is called as diatomaceous earth or kyssenker, used in filtration, polishing, paints, syrups. Right. Now moreover, they form growing in fresh water as well as they are marine water. They are photosynthetic, microscopic, they float flaccid beyond water. They are called as most commonly phytoplanktons. These chrysophytes, they are phytoplanktons. They contain plant characteristics. Planktons means they freely float on the surface of water. So these are the things which we need to remember very importantly about chrysophytes, which is nothing but the first category of the example for Protista. Now let us continue with the next one. Under biological classification, now we are discussing what is called Protista. Under Protista, we just have studied chrysophytes, and now let us go with the second one. Under this is nothing but dinoflagellates. Dinoflagellates. Okay, now these dinoflagellates, they are also called as whirling whips, because they are also called as spinning birds. So these are the different terminologies to refer dinoflagellates. Even this part is important, as we have discussed like chrysophytes. Even dinoflagellates are also very, very important. Now, so if you look at this dinoflagellates, dino means two, flagellates means two flagella. There are occurrence of two flagella, and these two flagella, they show spinning movement. And whirling whips, they keep moving. The two flagella, what occur on the surface of the organism, it shows spinning, means it shows spinning, rotates, as well as it shows whirling whips. That's why the dinoflagellates are also called as whirling whips or spinning birds. So there are different names which we have to remember. For example, in Monera, we studied about cyanobacteria. Did you remember? So what we have studied other names for that. So if you look at under kingdom Monera, one of the category what we have discussed is cyanobacteria. In cyanobacteria, most commonly we find the organisms like nostoc and Anabaena. Most commonly in cyanobacteria, which organisms are most commonly seen here and there and everywhere wherever you find water resource, water ponds or in like floating ponds, and wherever water is stored, water reservoirs. Most commonly floating organisms are nothing but nostoc and Anabaena. Both of them are cyanobacteria. Now in the nostoc and Anabaena, if you look at the nostoc, it's referred with different names, right? So like that some few organisms have different names to remember. Nostoc is also called as, I think I have given for the last class, if not you can note down, it's also called as moon split. It like splitted moon, the structure appears like a splitted moon. It's called moon split, or itself is called as, it's also referred as a fallen star, or itself is referred as star jelly. Itself is referred as star jelly. Okay, so when you take the Monera we studied about cyanobacteria, and that the most important example, nostoc, found everywhere. This nostoc is also referred as, so try to remember different terminologies. Nostoc is also called as moon split because it appears the structure like a moon, or itself is also called as, it appears like as if the star is falling. When star is falling, how it looks, it is how it structurally it appears. That's why it's also called as fallen star, or also called as star jelly. So these are the different names which we have to remember for nostoc. And where do you find this, where it shows symbiotic association, where it shows shelter and all that? In coming chapter we will discuss some more important points, in which plants they are associated with, everything, all important points we will discuss in the next chapter, plant kingdom. At that time I'll ask you guys, what are the different terminologies of nostoc? Then at that time you have to remember and say, nostoc also called moon split, also called fallen star, also called as star jelly, like that. So few organisms we have different names to remember. Now if you look at dinoflagellates, dino means two flagella. So here they are also called whirling whips, are also called as spinning worms. Now these dinoflagellate are found grows in, that is directly right, grows in a marine environment. They found growing in marine water or marine environment, and moreover they are photosynthetic. Meaning they prepare their own food materials. So they found growing in marine environment, and moreover they are photosynthetic in nature. They prepare their own food material. Right. Now, apart from this, these dinoflagellates here, the cell wall structure. Cell wall structure related point is very important, because chrysophytes we studied that cell wall is made up of silica shells, epitheca, hypotheca. So their cell wall is contain two layers, two silica shells, epitheca and hypotheca, made up of silica. Silica is indestructible. They are called silica shells. Cell wall point of chrysophytes is very important. Similarly, in dinoflagellates, the cell wall contain a stiff cellulose plate on outer surface. A stiff cellulose plate on outer surface. Okay, so here the cell wall contain very stiff cellulose plate occurs on the outer surface. If you look at outer surface, very stiff cellulose plate occurs on the cell wall. That's a very important point for us, all of us, to remember. Now, as you know, dino means it contains two flagella. That's why they are called as dinoflagellates. As they contain two flagella, that's why they are called as what? Dinoflagellates. Now, if you look at the arrangement, how they are arranged. Now, these two flagella, one flagella out of the two, one flagella lies longitudinally. One flagella lies longitudinally, and other flagella lies transversely. One flagella lies longitudinally and other flagella lies transversely. Okay, in a furrow between cell plates. in a furrow between cell plates. What's the meaning of this? Now if you look at these particular organism, we find the occurrence of, there are occurrence of two flagella. One of the flagella lies longitudinally, it lies longitudinally, and other lies transversely here. One lies longitudinally, other lies transversely like this, right? So other one here, what is present here? Suppose if you take, this is the one, the dinoflagellate. So if you look at, it contains two flagella. So one lies longitudinally, other lies transversely here. Now this transversely occurs in the furrow between the cell plate. This is the outer cell plate, this is inner cell plate. If you look at this second flagella which lies transversely into a furrow between the two cell plates. Okay, so that is how the arrangement of two flagella, and these two flagella, they causes whirling webs. It shows the spinning movements. That's why they are also called as whirling webs. It shows what is called a spinning movement. They keep rotating and also keeps moving from one place to other place. They keep rotating and also keeps moving from one place to other place. Because the two flagella shows the spinning movement, that's why they are also called as what? Whirling webs. So if you look at dinoflagella, it's also called whirling webs because of their spinning movement. That's why they are also called spinning whorls. Now if you look at, they find growing in marine environment. Moreover, they are photosynthetic. Here photosynthetic because they prepare their own food material, and here the cell wall contains a stiff cellulose plate on the outer surface. And here this point is very, very important. A stiff cellulose plate on the outer surface, that is regarding the cell wall point, very important. And when you are reading this point, try to compare with the cell wall point of chrysophytes. And there is an occurrence of two flagella. One flagella lies longitudinally and other flagella lies transversely in a furrow between the cell plates. So one lies longitudinally, other lies transversely into the furrow between the two cell plates. And as it shows spinning movements, they are also called as what? Whirling webs. Now let's continue further. Now if you take this whirling webs and swimming movement, now generally when they float and showing the whirling webs and swimming movement here, generally they appear, these dinoflagellates appears in different colors, like they appear in yellow color, and some of the dinoflagellate, they may appear in red, green, or they may appear in blue in color. Why? Because of the expression of a different chlorophyll pigments. Different chlorophyll and other pigments. So pigments gives coloration to the organism, that we know it very well. So generally when they are giving spinning movements and also floating at the same time, by rotating they keep flowing from one place to other place, that's why they are also called whirling webs. So when they keep rotating, sometimes some of the dinoflagellates appear yellow in color, some are red, and they get expressed in green or blue color. So its appearance of different colors is because of the presence of different chlorophyll substances, different chlorophyll pigments and including other pigments. And these pigments, they make the dinoflagellates to rotate and show spinning movement from one place to other place. Right? Now when they keep moving from one place to other place here, so they also show spinning movement, that's called whirling webs. That's a simple point. But now let us talk about very, very important point about dinoflagellates. Now in this case, if you look at structurally, the nucleus has condensed chromosomes. Nucleus has condensed chromosomes even in interphase. Condensed chromosomes even in interphase. And chromosomes do not have histones. Chromosomes do not have histones. Chromosomes do not have histones. Very, very important. Now, such kind of condition is called as, the condition what I have written now, the such kind of condition it's called as, this condition together it's called as mesokaryon. This condition is called mesokaryon. Very, very important. It's called a mesokaryon. Very, very, very important point. What is that important point? Now let us see again. The nucleus has condensed chromosomes even in interphase. Try to remember each and every terminology what is mentioned in this point is very, very important. What is it? The nucleus has condensed chromosomes even in interphase. What's the meaning of this? Suppose if you look at, I'll give you, the cell is in the process of division. So if you take, here generally this is how it looks. It will be packed. Generally it will be like what you call nucleus. But at the time of cell division, so here if you look at, this is at interphase, the general condition. This is at interphase. And the same nucleus when you saw or observed, this is dinoflagellate, no? The same nucleus when you observe at the time of cell division, then it will be like this. So you can see condensed chromosomes. These are called as condensed chromosomes. When you can see condensed chromosomes, that means cell is in the process called as cell division. When you can see the coiled nucleus, the coiled chromosome, we say the cell is in the phase called as interphase. We can say the cell is in interphase. Okay, so what we are trying to say here, see the nucleus has condensed chromosomes even in interphase. Let me talk about this point very clearly with you because this point is very, very important. So we are discussing about dinoflagellates. All points are related to dinoflagellates. Now, generally at the time of cell division, we find two stages. One is called interphase, meaning cell completed its cell division. Once one cell division is completed, one cell divides and produces two daughter cells. After cell division is completed, cell will be in rest for some time. It stops its cell division and stays for some time, takes rest for some time. That is called interphase, or itself is called resting phase. So whenever I give one cell and when I keep under microscope, when you observe under microscope, if you can see the coiled chromosome, so there are no condensed, interphase means generally we say no condensed chromosomes. Here no condensed chromosomes. No condensed chromosomes. Meaning what? Generally interphase, what you can see, if there are no condensed chromosomes, what you can see, the coiled genome, the coiled chromosome or coiled genome, coiled chromosome. When you can see the coiled chromosome under microscope, then you will come to know here there are no condensed chromosomes. That means cell is in interphase or cell is taking rest. So interphase is also called as resting phase. Okay, repeat again, listen carefully. Whenever the cell is placed in microscope, after completion of the cell division, cell will take rest for some time. It's called interphase or resting phase. After resting phase, interphase, again cell participates in the process called cell division. At the time of cell division, the coiled chromosome, the chromosomes here what you find, they are intercoiled here. Later, at the time of cell division, they condense and appears in the form of chromosomes. So during cell division, what you can see here is nothing but they are called condensed chromosomes. Okay, so when condensed chromosomes appears means, I have given one cell under slide. I asked all you guys observe under microscope. Then when you observe the condensed chromosomes in the microscope, so you will understand, you will come to know that cell is in the process of cell division. That means condensed chromosomes appears during cell division. Cell is in the process of cell division because condensed chromosomes appears at the time of cell division. Suppose after cell division, again cell will come back to rest. That's called interphase or called resting phase. At the time you can see coiled genome. At the time you can see coiled chromosome, coiled genome. That means no condensed chromosomes. Then if you see coiled chromosome and no condensed chromosomes, you will understand that cell is in interphase, meaning it is taking rest. It's called resting phase. So what is the final output you have to understand? When you see the cell with no condensed chromosomes and coiling, network coiling of coiled genome or coiled chromosomes, so it is said to be cell is in interphase. Coiled chromosomes say cell is in interphase. So it is like this. All the chromosomes, they join together like this. Like they will be coiled like this. Okay, so whenever coiled genome is there, the phase is called interphase. In that, no condensed chromosomes. After some time, cell enters into cell division. Means cell starts dividing before division. At the time of cell division, so here this condensed and breaks into form condensed chromosome. Thick chromosomes will appear. When you can see condensed chromosomes so clearly in microscope, that means cell is in the process of cell division. So I repeat these 2 points, you keep it in your mind. Interphase means no condensed chromosomes, coiled genome. Whereas cell division, when cell is in cell division phase, you can see condensed chromosomes. These two we will study in detail in the next coming chapter called cell division. After you follow that point in that chapter, what is this, what I am discussing with you. If you follow this point once again carefully in cell division, and again you need to come back and check with the point what we are discussing for dinoflagellates. Now I hope these two you understood. Interphase, cell division phase. This is what generally normally occurs. This we will study in cell division. Then, but what is this condition we find in dinoflagellates? In dinoflagellates, the nucleus has condensed chromosomes even in interphase. Meaning what? Cell completed its cell division. Meaning this is general condition. Now, cell division meaning at the time of cell division what you can see? Condensed chromosomes. So these are called as condensed chromosomes. These are called as condensed chromosomes. These are called as what? Condensed chromosomes. That means condensed chromosomes are seen. If condensed chromosomes are seen means what? This is called cell division phase. The cell is in cell division phase. When it comes to interphase, what happens? They should coil, right? But what is happening? The condensed chromosomes remain as in the form of condensed condition even in interphase. They appears even in interphase. Even in interphase. That means what is absent here? That means what is absent here? Now if you take the condition here. So here if you take the condition, generally in cell division you can see condensed chromosomes. In interphase no condensed chromosomes. But in case of dinoflagellates, the nucleus has condensed chromosomes even in interphase. During cell division, what the condensed chromosomes are formed here, they remain in the form of condensed chromosomes even at interphase. That means coiled chromosome is totally absent. And moreover, the chromosomes do not have histones. Histones proteins are totally absent. So here the chromosomes what you find here histones are absent, meaning no histones. Histones are absent. Histone proteins are absent. Histones means the histone proteins which are required for coiling of genome. Now histones are absent. Histones meaning here you can write histone proteins. Better you can write down histone proteins. Do not have histone proteins. This is very important point. As do not have histone proteins, as histone proteins are absent, the chromosomes cannot coil. So they remain appears in the form of condensed chromosomes. Even in interphase also they appears in the form of condensed chromosomes because chromosomes do not have histone proteins. Histone proteins helps them to coil. So here histone proteins are present. Histone proteins help them to coil one around the other. Because of histone proteins, the genetic material will coil. And coiled genetic material appears in interphase. Because here there are no histone proteins, chromosomes do not have histone proteins, no histone proteins. So these chromosomes are unable to coil, unable to circle, unable to coil and form the network. So they remain as in the form of condensed chromosomes. Even in interphase also they appear like a condensed chromosomes. Actually in interphase they should appear like a coiled genome. But due to lack of histone proteins, they are in the form of condensed chromosomes at the time of cell division. When it comes to interphase also, they remain as in the form of condensed chromosomes. Meaning condensed chromosomes appears even in interphase because histone proteins are absent. Such type of condition is called as mesokaryon. Such condition is called as what? Mesokaryon. Karyon means nucleus. Meso means the condition what we are studying here. It's called mesokaryon. Karyon means in the nucleus this is happening. That's why it's called mesokaryon. So I took this much time to repeat these points because the point is very important. So I'll repeat once again. Just listen carefully. In general conditions, this we will study in cell division. In interphase is also called resting phase. At that time you find coiled genome. Coiled genome is present here, and here histone proteins help them to coil the genome. And in interphase, no condensed chromosomes. Means condensed chromosomes do not appear. You can see coiled genome. Then you will come to know the cell is in rest. It's called interphase. And after taking rest, after interphase, cell enters into the cell division phase. During cell division, this coiled chromosome condense to form chromosomes. These are called condensed chromosomes. If condensed chromosomes appears means cell is in cell division phase. This is a general condition. But what is happening in dinoflagellates? There is an important condition called mesokaryon. What is meant by mesokaryon? The nucleus has condensed chromosomes even in interphase. In cell division phase you can see condensed chromosomes. The same condensed chromosomes appears even in interphase, and there is no coiled genome. Why there is no coiled genome means histone proteins are totally absent. Histone proteins helps them to coil, to form the network. As there are no histone proteins here, they remain as in the form of condensed chromosomes. It's called mesokaryon. What is mesokaryon? All of you try to practice and remember this point is very important. May have chance to get it on the final lead paper regarding dinoflagellates. I repeat again, that's what I'm telling you again. The nucleus has condensed chromosomes even in interphase, and chromosomes do not have histone proteins. Such condition is called as what? Mesokaryon. Regarding this mesokaryon, we will understand once again very clearly when we study the process of cell division. Now let's continue further. Now here, if you look at now let's continue with the dinoflagellate. Some marine dinoflagellates. They exhibit special properties like they show bioluminescence. They show what is called as a bioluminescence. What is the meaning of bioluminescence? So here if you take some of the marine dinoflagellates which grow in marine environment, they show the property called bioluminescence. So which organism shows bioluminescence? So let us remember the important example of marine or dinoflagellate. That's nothing but Noctiluca. It's nothing but Noctiluca. So what is meant by bioluminescence? Whenever sunlight falls on Noctiluca, it absorbs some amount of light, but most of the light reflected back. As a result, the organism glitters, it shines, it shows some radiating shine. So when it reflects back light, it appears like as if it is giving the light. So during night time, Noctiluca glitters, it shines, it gives light, it reflects light. That property is called as bioluminescence. Okay, so during daytime, during sunlight is available, especially some marine dinoflagellates like Noctiluca. Noctiluca is very important example because it is bioluminescence. Very sorry guys, let's continue further here. Now we are discussing about Noctiluca. So this Noctiluca, whenever during daytime it receives the sunlight, and when it receives the sunlight, the same thing, some little amount of light is absorbed, most of the light will be reflected back into the surrounding environment. So during night time, the light reflects from Noctiluca as a float on the surface of the marine water. It appears as if it's glittering and it's shining and it's giving some light. Because of its glittery nature, and it is referred with the property called bioluminescence. Means here the organism is giving glittery of light or glitters, it's giving light, it's reflecting light. During night time, the light coming from dinoflagellates appears as if floating on the water. The property is called as bioluminescence. Now apart from this, some other example, if you talk about Gornvelis. So if you take Gornvelis here, Gornvelis, Y-A-U, take Y-A-U, G-O-N-Y-A-U-L-U-S, Gornvelis is very important. Now this Gornvelis dinoflagellate undergo rapid multiplication. It will undergo a rapid multiplication. It will undergo rapid multiplication. As a result of rapid multiplication, forms large quantity or large number of organisms. Large quantity or large number forms large quantity or large number. And when they form large number, they make C to appear red in color. They make C to appear red in color. To appear red in color. They make the C to appear red in color. Then it's called as red tides of Mediterranean Sea. It's called red tides of Mediterranean Sea. It's called red tides of Mediterranean Sea. Very important. It's called red tides of Mediterranean Sea. So especially if you take organisms like Gornvelis, it undergoes rapid multiplication. So here, as when they float on the surface of water, they undergo multiplication, they produce in large quantity. When they produced, rapid multiplication means one organism divides and forms two organisms. Rapidly, very fast, they undergo multiplication in a very short span of time. You can see some thousands or lakh number of organisms are multiplied. They divide by binary fission and increase their number. As a result, they form large number, they form large quantity by rapid multiplication. When they produced in large quantity and they are floating along with the water, they make C2 appear red in color. Because of their large quantity gathered at one place, accumulated at one place, and because of the red pigment called phycoerythrin, they appear red in color, and that makes appearance of red tides of Mediterranean Sea. Convex makes it the red tides of Mediterranean Sea. So generally people call that as, they are called as red tides of Mediterranean Sea. So who is responsible for red tides of Mediterranean Sea? The convex. Convex, it's a dinoflagellate, moreover it is a protista. Now if you remember, we have discussed point even about Monera. In Monera cyanobacteria, did you remember? Cyanobacteria also makes the C2 appear red in color. So as for the question, you have to be very careful whether the question is speaking about Monera, cyanobacteria, or the question is speaking about convex. So I repeat, say again, convex undergo rapid multiplication on the surface of the water. They increase, rapid means very fast division they undergo. As a result, they form large quantity, they float along with the water, and when they are forming on the tides, they make C2 appear red in color, that referred as convex causes red tides of Mediterranean Sea. Now, at the same time, when they rapidly multiply, they form large quantity, and this large quantity release toxins. This large quantity release toxins into surrounding water. Because they release toxins, kills or destroys the other aquatic organisms, kills or destroys or causes death of other aquatic organisms, causes the death of other aquatic organisms. That causes death of other aquatic organisms.
ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి, జేఈఈ అయినా, నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.